Hello everybody. So today's class is about basis of life, and it's mainly a brief idea of what we are talking about in biology. So here, what is exactly the basis of life that we as a zoologist or a botanist or a science enthusiast can say? What is the basis of life? It's most definitely the cell, tiny units of our body called the cell. This makes up the body entirely. But each cell is very small. So very small units of cells together forms the entire body. Even if the body of a small ant, it's still made up of a small cells. Any type of body, like for example, the human body, it's also made up of different types of cells. And what exactly can we say what a cell is? It is defined as cell is the smallest structural and functional unit of an organism. That is cell. So from there we can actually classify cell types. Mainly there are two. First one is the unicellular organisms. What are unicellular organisms? They are organisms with only a single cell. So uni meaning single. So they are called the unicellular organisms. Examples for these are amoeba, paramecium, bacteria. Let's look at a few pictures. Here we have paramecium with its own cilia, the small hair-like projections which it is using to move about. And as you can see, there's only a single cell. Forget about this thing, okay? It's just a projection to the outside body, but it's still a single cell. But everything that they need is inside that. Look at here, the amoeba. Amoeba has a pseudopod, which is something they are used to capture the food. You can see this is a like a pod here indicate like a hand or a leg kind of deal. So pseudo means duplicate or fake. So this one looks like a hand and this one looks like a hand. Not exactly a hand like our own hand, but more like a substitute. And if there's something here for a food, they capture it and they go inside like this. Now the third one, euglena. It has a flagellum which is used to move, and like paramecium, a single cell. Amoeba also has only a single cell. There's no divisions. Then look at this, euglena with a single cell. So these are the unicellular organisms. Next is what we call the multicellular organisms. So what is the difference between these two? I mean, we had like uni means single, so multi means multiples. I mean, it's not something new that you're hearing, right? Multi means multiples. You even have maths classes about multiplication and everything. More numbers. Here it's not actually numbers, but it's more or less the more than a single number. Here indicating more than a single cell. That is, organisms with more than a single cell, they are called the multicellular organisms. And the most prominent example that will come easily to your mind is the human body itself, and the other animals and plants. The picture. As you can see, there's a kangaroo here, and there's a lots of different types of birds. I can definitely say this one looks like a peacock, kinda. And there's emu there, and what is this? Like a parrot or an owl? Oh, that's also a bird, but all of these, including this, wait a minute, yeah, this one, and this organism, the fish kind of thing. It's a fish, right? Oh, yeah, it's kind of fish. And that also, and the birds up there, beautiful ones. And the fox, the cat, and the fox, no, wolf. There's something else in between, yeah. And these organisms, oh yeah, there's a small organisms running over there. They are kangaroos. What's kangaroo doing? Anyway, forget that. So there are a lot of organisms, including the plants, which I forgot. This one, the plants here, plants there. All the plants, all the birds, and the animals, including ourselves, are considered multicellular organisms. So through this, we can actually tell differences between unicellular and multicellular. For a unicellular, it is made up of single cell. So multi means more than one. Unicellular should have a simple body organization. It's not that kind of a difficult kind of a structure. Well, you'll see compared to the multicellular organisms. Let's go back. Let's take the example of a kangaroo. It has hands, legs. It's also made up of different types of cells. Here and here and here and here and here. Tons of them. So it is very, what do you call it, complex organisms. But as you remember, amoeba had a simple structure, like an almost like an what do you call it, a squished kind of clay kind of structure. So it's not that difficult. I mean, it's not that complex of a structure to remember. So whatever other kind of things we can see. In Unicellular, we have single cell structure, and the body organization is very simple. And the single cell does all the functions of the life. I mean, in case of amoeba, it doesn't have any other kind of cells. So it takes in food using its pseudopods, like I said, and it eats, it digests everything done in a single place. For a good analogy, now for an to get a better idea, consider your own room or your house, and you have a room. Maybe you don't, but consider the kitchen, and everything you need is in there. That defines his what do you call unicellular organism, meaning the food you make, the food you get, the food you vegetate out, everything, intake and out, exit, everything, the toilet including everything is in a single room. That is the unicellular organism. The entire house having kitchen and a separate bathroom, a separate bedroom. If a complete house is taken, and that can be defined as an multicellular organism. So the difference, in simpler terms, for you to easily remember, consider a poor guy with a single room and for unicellular, and consider a rich guy with a big apartments and hotels and everything as a multicellular organism. So the next part, and usually in the unicellular section, we can say that they have very short life, meaning they live and they die very very fast. I mean, there's not much to do. See, a single cell, you don't have much things to do in there. So they live very fast and they die very fast. And if there's an injury for the cell, it definitely leads to cell death. Cell death meaning the cell dies. And if you're considering the multicellular organism, it has a longer lifespan, meaning it really doesn't have a short life compared to the unicellular. Meaning, if you think, this is more of a generalization, not exact the answer, not the exact comparison, but if you take the life of a dog, it's around 10 years. Generally, I'm just generalizing, 10 years. How long do you live? You got about 60 at minimum. I mean, considering different conditions, but 60 and 10 years is very different. So if you are going even smaller, dog is a pretty big thing. Go down like a rat. It doesn't have that much of a life as compared to a dog. Then even if you're going even smaller, like an insect, it has even less of a life. And if you go even smaller, where we reach the unicellular, it has very short life. So compared to a human with 60 years and 80 years, and it goes on. And the unicellular organisms have very very small short life. I mean, like minutes in certain cases. And if a single cell, if it is injured, there's nothing you can do, and it simply dies. That's the case in unicellular. In bigger organisms like us, if we get a scratch, that means like tens and thousands of single cells destroyed. That means for unicellular, it means certain that for us, a scratch is just that, a scratch. It will heal over, and we will still live for a long time. It really does not lead to the cell death. And next is the microscopic nature of the unicellular organism. It indicates that you cannot really see the organism, the paramecium and everything that we shown before, the amoeba. You really cannot see that with the naked eye. Means you cannot see, simply look at things at the air and oh, there are lots of unicellular organisms. It does not happen like that. We need a microscope. We look through those, setting up the slides and everything, and only through those we can see the bacteria and the amoeba, the examples given below. It's only through that we can see. In our cases, we can see with the naked eye, meaning we can see each other, we can see other organisms, we can see ourselves. Those are the multicellular organisms. So main differences, once more, unicellular means single and multi means many. Simple body organization in unicellular, complex in multicellular. Single cell does all the functions in unicellular, and multiple cells function multiple functions. Oh, that I didn't say. So you see, in a single cell, everything has to be done. Yeah, I did say. Single cell, everything has to be done. Like the case of a single room, poor guy. And in multicellular, the rich guy with a lot of things. So he got rooms for kitchens and secondary kitchens, whatever they may be. He has a lot of things. So multiple cells for multiple functions. And next is a short life of the unicellular, which is long lifespan for the multicellular. Injury leads to cell death in unicellular organisms. Does not happen in multicellular. Microscopic nature of the unicellular means it is very small and can only be observed through microscope. And it is macroscopic as the exact term for multicellular organisms, meaning it does not need a microscope to observe these kind of multicellular organisms. And finally, the examples: bacteria, amoeba, yeast, and etc. Etc. does not actually mean a unicellular, but the other, so on and so on. Means there are a lot of unicellular organisms like bacteria, and multicellular meaning includes humans, insects, plants, and a lot of other pictures that I saw earlier. And I guess that rounds up today's class, and thank you.